Hello everyone. Finally a new fire alarm video. About a month, probably more than a month ago, I did my very first fire alarm collection update, and it got more views than my recent rail painting videos that I uploaded at the same time, so thank you for that. Because of the success of that fire alarm collection video, I will be making another fire alarm collection video. So this is my second fire alarm collection update. Later, and you will be seeing some modern stuff like this, some semi-vintage stuff, like stuff from the 90s and 80s, and some really old stuff, and some modern stuff that's really rare. So you're going to see a lot of old rare alarms in this. So let's get this thing started. First we have my Firelight BZ12S single axon. Kind of rare because I don't see these around anywhere. Or I don't look hard enough and they just hide in plain sight. Here's my Spectralert Classic, or to be more specific, my System Sensor P1224MC. 4-wire and multiple candela selections. My first ever Spectralert Advance, and it looks like a typical Spectralert Advance at first, but the candela selection runs between 135 to 180 candela. So it's a P2R8, the 8 meaning high candela. This one's extremely loud, by the way. Here's my Edwards 278B1120. My brand new and rare Wheelock Rss Exceeder with agent on it. Doesn't say fire, but it says agent on it. How cool is that? This is for waterless fire suppression systems, or any kind of fire suppression systems. When it discharges, it triggers a sensor that activates this one, and to let the people in the building know that there's a chemical being discharged to put out a fire. It has a very big candela selection, but I don't have the switch on. The back snaps off, which is pretty cool. Now here are two bilingual Wheelock ZNSs. Well, they're labeled as Siemens, but I took the Siemens sticker off one, and there's a Wheelock thing on it. This one still has a Siemens sticker on it. You'll see where the Siemens sticker went on the other one in the future. My other Wheelock ZNS, or Siemens ZNS, that's bilingual. This means fire and friends. So they're pretty rare. Never seen these in America before, until now. Until I got them. Here's my ADT 5060S, or is the ESL 103. My elementary school had these pole stations. And there's another elementary school that's next to the gym that I go to that has these pole stations also. Takes a Simplex P key, by the way. Here's my Wheelock RSS, which is the quietest alarm that I have. RSS means remote synchronized strobe. The same candela selections that all the older Wheelock strobes have. 2-wire. And here's my first ever fire alarm horn strobe. My Wheelock NS. The Exceeder and the ZNS have the exact same horn as this. 2-wire. That's the switch for the candela right there. And it works really good. It's pretty loud. It's actually slightly louder than my Spectralert Classic, which is surprising. Fun fact, these three alarms were my very first fire alarms that I got at the same time. Moving on, next is the Wheelock MT. The MT looks a lot like the NS. The NS came out before this version of the MT, though. It has a series of dip switches that can make it do different sounds, which is pretty cool. And it's 4-wire. Here's my Simplex 2099-9754. And here's a Simplex pole station ripoff that was made by various companies, which includes RSG, Potter, ESL, and some of them didn't have a label on them, and this one has Radionics on it. I wonder what happened to Radionics. I wonder if they probably, I think they got taken over by Boss, but who knows. The reason why I have this pole station is that they were in my first summer camp that I went to that was like in the middle of a farmland. My very first summer camp had these pole stations on its fire alarm system. They had these as the pole stations and Spectral Alert Classics as the alarms, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And here's a really rare version. Oh yeah, the model name of this is a Radionics D462. And here's another Radionics D462. It's blue. It's for emergency door releases, lift and pull. Really nice and blue, really rare. They actually have this for tornado warnings too, but those are so rare that you can't even find them anywhere. But I will try to find one of these, and it needs a variant. But you can use these if you're creative with fire alarms, just as a hobby system, because NFPA won't allow that. It works the same way as a normal fire alarm pole station does. Here's my Wheelock ASWP, which is an outdoor AS. These are still produced today, and it's louder than a Spectral Alert Advance on high volume. These are actually some of the loudest fire alarms ever made today. Not as loud as vintage fire alarms, but these are the loudest fire alarms produced today that I know of. Has the same sound as the MT horn. And here's my AS24 MCW, which is the indoor version of this one. I don't think they still make it, because they are in favor of the Exceeders. Here's a kind of rare version of the Wheelock AS. It's more, the edges are more sharp on here, and it's a little bit more boxy, and the strobe is a little bit different looking. And it's set at 1575. There's the Siemens sticker that was on the ZNS. I think it's an AS24 1575W. Here are my ADA compliant Wheelock EHS DL1s. That one is Wheelock, this one's Cerberus Pyrotronics. And here's my normal Wheelock EHS DL1. Fun fact, these were the devices that were in my elementary school's fire alarm system. Well, this was the horn strobe, this was the pole station. And these were doing code 3 on the outside, where these were doing continuous on the inside. I wonder how they do that. If anybody knows, please tell me in the comments. Oh, well, they had those outside doing continuous too. So, yeah, I wonder how they did that. Now, alright, now we're going to get into some really vintage and rare stuff here. Let's start out with the Simplex 425120s. Well, start out really rare because everybody has them. Well, most fire alarm collectors have them. They're like the most iconic pole stations. And here's my Wheelock 34 horn. It's built before 1985 because in the mid 80s they changed the grill design on them. Here's my Simplex 4051 horn. Pretty nice. Those are some nice terminals, huh? It's DC. Might convert it to an AC horn though soon. Here's my open 2903 light plate, and here's a really rare 2903 light plate that has a different looking grill that most people, I'm sure, have not seen. Here's a Wheelock 7004T. Here's a Wheelock 7004T also, and here's a Wheelock 7002T. Compare the two on the back. There's more stuff on the 7002T because it's DC. And then there's the 7004T. In fact, I'll plug it in right now to do a demo. Very loud, very loud. Alright, now here's a super old, super rare IBM Chevron pole station. These are normally in Simplex or Faraday. And then here's an even more rare IBM pole station. I wonder if it's number 77. I think there's a piece missing that holds the button in. This one is at least 80 years old, which is crazy, and how the condition that it's in, it works just fine with my modern alarms, surprisingly. Here's my Simplex 4030 that I converted from a Benjamin electric horn that used to be gray. And here's another Benjamin electric horn that's also going to be converted to a 4030. This one's empty. There's nothing in the base of it because the inner workings of this one is being used in another horn, because that other horn had its inner workings burned up when the previous owner accidentally put 115 volts on it when it's supposed to be 12 volts. So yeah, I got a fried horn. But I have other inner workings from other horns that I salvaged, so I can get that thing working in no time. And here's a Benjamin Electric N8546 115. This one sounds just like Andrew's 4030. Andrew's New Age server alarm, by the way. So this one is really raspy. These ones sound really smooth because they're different kinds of horns. And last is my dual projector IBM 4030. Originally 12 volt, but I converted it to 115 volts just by changing out the inside of it. This one's super loud. These four horns are the loudest alarms that I have. Louder than Wheelocks, louder than Spectral Alerts, louder than anything. So that's the update on my collection. So now I gotta go back and put all these things on the shelves and start reviewing some model trains. So yeah, I hope all you fire alarm fans enjoyed this video. I will be getting some smoke detectors real soon, and then some wire, and then some back boxes, and some hardware, and hopefully I'll be able to put a fire alarm system in the house. And that should be interesting. In fact, comment the alarms that you would like to see on the first system test. Yes, my panel will be a firelight panel. It's budget reasons, because it's affordable and it's basic and it's easy to use. It is a good first panel. But yeah, comment the alarms that you want to see on my first system test. So, thank you for watching the Fire Alarm Collection Update. This is Alex the Rail Fanning Redneck,